capital, Abuja, Uyi Agumofwegbe. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in New Delhi, the capital of India, for a 6-day official visit, during which he will be attending the G20 Leaders Summit, amongst other engagements. The jet conveying the president and his entourage touched down at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, Delhi, at about 6:40 p.m. local time. Before participating in the summit slated for September 9 to 10, 2023, the president will attend the several high-level meetings and engagements with other world leaders and business executives on the sidelines of the summit. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has expressed his support for new partnerships with global technology companies to ensure that data from public institutions are accurate and transparent in providing templates on which proper public sector planning and accounting can occur across sectors. Speaking yesterday at a meeting in the State House with the Global Vice President of Oracle, Andres Garcia Arroyo, the President, in a statement by Presidential Spokesman Ajure Ngelale, welcomed the company's commitment to Nigeria's civil service reform process and data management sector, as he emphasized the need for greater knowledge transfer through the establishment of academies and training institutions across the country, aiming to promote the ease of doing business, digital innovation, effective identity management, efficient payroll administration, and qualitative citizen-centered service delivery. The president cited Oracle's proven success in the automation of the Lagos State payroll system, during which his tenure as the Lagos State's governor, and lauded the positive impact of technological solutions in enhancing accountability and expediting timelines for service delivery without sacrificing quality in the process. Vice President Kashif Shettima says that Nigeria, which used to be the sleeping giant of the world, is now ready to take its rightful place in the global arena. Speaking on Tuesday at the 16th Annual Banking and Finance Conference holding in Abuja on the theme, Nigeria, the sleeping giant of Africa, has woken up from its slumber, Shettima restated that the withdrawal of fuel subsidy was irrevocable. In joining the participants at the conference to come on board to help build a nation for all, the Vice President said the current administration was partnering with some banks to drive a digital economic process. He stated that some banks were already working with governments to teach young Nigerian men digital skills to compete in the global digital space. Vice President Kashif Shettima says it is essential for political aides to exercise discretion in both their public and private lives and to avoid any actions that could tarnish government's reputation. The Vice President gave the charge during the opening ceremony of a retreat and sensitization program on administrative procedure and governance in the public sector. Kikelamo Okere has details.
Speaking to participants, which include political aides and senior civil servants, on the topic, Forging a Path to Responsible Governance, a call to political aides, Vice President Shettima pointed out that the retreat is designed to facilitate their transition and equip them with the fundamental tenets of public sector administration and governance.
Will undergo more intense scrutiny, occasionally even rigorous criticism. Therefore, it is absolutely essential to exercise discretion in both their public and private lives and to avoid any action or actions that will tarnish the reputation of the government.
On the sensitive of their roles as political aides, Vice President says they are bound by the laws of the country in all matter of official correspondence. These laws outline the consequences for international and unintended mishandling of information entrusted to their care. In his welcome remark, the permanent secretary of the State House, Engineer Funsho Adebiyi, disclosed that the training was aimed at registering the commitment of the political aides towards actualizing the goals of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration.
To look at how to manage what I call our bosses' interrelationship. And not only that, we are here to see what is the schedule of duty of the principal staffs, principal aides of our principals, if you understand what I mean now. What do we do? How do we do it in a way as not to in any way embarrass our principals? Not only that, we are here to also look at the relationship with other tiers of government, National Assembly, as well as the judiciary. It is important, we've soon discovered in the course of our lecture, the interrelationship between the
The vice president, however, called for synergy and teamwork, stating that their primary instinct should always revolve around the recognition that are part of a team united in the pursuit of a shared objective. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC yesterday boycotted the meeting convened by Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, to avert the two-day warning strike the organized labour has started yesterday. This is just as affiliate unions of the NLC, including the National Union of Air Transport Employees, the Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, among others, have, in a joint circular, directed all stakeholders in the aviation sector to comply with the NLC's directive to join the strike. The NLC had last Friday issued the two-day warning strike notice over current hardship caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. Despite a one-third reduction in agricultural productivity in Africa due to the effects of climate change, the chairperson of the African Climate Summit 2023 and president of Kenya, William Ruto, has stated in Nairobi that Africa's natural carbon sinks were an economic gold mine. The Kenya president further stated that Africa's renewable energy resources were not just for the safety of the environment, but a catalyst of radical socio-economic prosperity. He urged African nations to solve the energy poverty on the continent through the abundant resources offered by new technologies. The Kenyan president called on African leaders at the summit to converge on efforts, African priorities as a pathway for achieving the financial structures that can deliver Africa's goals. Back home, the federal government has said it will be engaging terminal operators for the rehabilitation of their $800 million, an equivalent of 593 billion naira ports of Apapa, Tinkan, and others. Minister of Maritime and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, said this on Monday when he was led on a familiarization visit to Apapa and Tinkan Island ports by the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, and his management team. However, reacting to this, Oyetola said the port was almost collapsing, adding that the reconstruction would commence soon. The ad hoc committee constituted by the House of Representatives to investigate the activities of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, says since its inception has held the management of the authority over its interventions in the healthcare sector. The members of the committee commended the NSIA during an oversight visit at the NSIA LUTH Cancer Center in Lagos on Monday. The visit was for the members of the committee to inspect and review the projects undertaken by the authority and their impact on the Nigerian economy, adding that the key areas of focus were healthcare, infrastructure, and agriculture. As a result of the NSIA Healthcare Development Investment Company was established to catalyze private sector investments to address the infrastructure gaps in the healthcare sector, improve manpower, and forge strategic collaborations to advance healthcare indicators across the country. Personnel of the Nigerian Army, in collaboration with operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, have uncovered no fewer than 12 illegal oil refining sites in Ohawa Creek in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State. The operatives also discovered 60 crude oil cooking ovens, 14 reservoirs, 6 wooden boats laden with stolen crude, and 470 sacks of illegally refined automotive gas oil in the camps. Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Yema Wanchuku, on Monday revealed that troops also intercepted stolen crude oil in Udu and Sekelewu, Warri North local government areas of Delta State. The Prime Minister of Niger's military government says contacts are underway to pave the way for very swift withdrawal of French forces from the country as anti-France sentiments continue to soar among Nigerians. Ali Mahaman Lemin Zain made the remark at a press conference on Monday, saying the contacts that are underway should enable a very swift withdrawal of French forces from the West African country, where around 1,500 French soldiers are present. The junta's justifications for the coup cite poor economic management and the deteriorating security situation under ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. However, it is difficult to believe the economic arguments. After 2 years of slow growth due to the coronavirus pandemic, Niger's economy rebounded strongly in 2022, with growth estimated at 11.5%. The ousted President Bazoum Mohamed Training and a well-known political figure of 3 decades had held senior ministerial positions under Issoufou, notably in the Interior and Foreign Affairs ministries. Niger's economy and social indicators now place it at the bottom of global development indices. You're watching Global TV AM News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the AM News returns, Nate says Solid Minerals earnings hits 814 billion naira in 15 years. We have details of these and other stories for you right after the break. Do stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of the AM News from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, on Monday announced that Nigeria's earnings from the solid minerals sector between 2007 and 2021, a period of 15 years, were 814.6 billion naira. NATI made this public in its latest 2021 industry reports of the solid minerals sector, which was unveiled to stakeholders and lawmakers in Abuja. The report, however, pointed out that the consistent year-on-year increase in revenue to the Federation account from the solid minerals sector in the past 15 years, putting the total revenue that accrued to the government during these years at 818.04 billion naira, but stated that this was significantly low compared to the economic potential of the sector. He stated that the 6.62 trillion naira total government revenue in 2021, the solid minerals sector barely contributed 2.6%. Presenting the report in Abuja, the Executive Secretary Nati Obonaya Orji said the 2021 solid minerals report reviewed, ascertained, reconciled, and reported all revenues and investment flows to and from governments in the solid minerals sector. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Solid Minerals Development Fund, Fatima Shinkafi, says the proposed Solid Minerals Corporation would not clash with the mandate of the Solid Minerals Fund. She said this while addressing journalists after the unveiling of the NATI industry report for the solid minerals industry for 2021 in Abuja on Monday. According to her, the SMDF is like the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, which does not clash with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. It reported that the federal government might have turned the over 1 trillion naira natural minerals resources fund set up to develop the solid mineral sector to a slush fund. The fund was set up by the Olusegun Obasanjo administration via an executive order in 2002 to develop alternative mineral resources to lessen the nation's dependence on petroleum. Findings indicated that 738.7 billion naira and $3 million had been disbursed from the fund for extraneous expenses, including the 2015 elections, the African Nations Cup, roads and drainage rehabilitation in Osun, Kano, and other states. She clarified that the NMRF differs from the SMDF, which became active last year. Shinkafi said Solid Mineral Development Fund has never funded any football event, nor did it sponsor the 2015 elections, as reported in some quarters. Nigeria cannot ignore her tech talents, the new Executive Secretary and Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Khalil Alilu, has disclosed. According to him, Nigerian talents are some of the best in the world and are making strides in different parts of the world. He said this recently during his inaugural address to the management and staff of the agency. He highlighted that one of his agendas as the EVC of the agency is to aid technology transfer. In a statement, Alilu said, number one thing his agency will do is to look at the area of technology transfer where everyone is looking at Africa, and there's no better chance to do that than now. Let's turn to the foreign scene now, where U.S. First Lady Jill Biden has tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing mild symptoms days before President Joe Biden, who had tested negative for the virus, is due to travel to a group of 20 summits in India. Biden's 72-year-old wife, who is vaccinated and has received boosters, will stay at home in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where she and President Joe Biden spent part of the weekend. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comments on whether Biden's foreign travel could be affected. However, Biden's official week-ahead schedule, released shortly after the announcement of the First Lady's diagnosis, showed him traveling to New Delhi on Thursday to attend the G20 summit. Biden is scheduled to fly to Hanoi on Sunday. Away from the U.S. now, President Vladimir Putin says the Russian energy sector is feeling generally confident despite Western sanctions that followed Moscow's offensive against Ukraine. Speaking at a meeting focused on energy with a few members of his government and the chairman of gas giant Novatek, Putin stated that in the current difficult conditions, Russia not only confirms its energy self-sufficiency and independence, but also keeps key positions in the world energy market. Saudi Arabia has announced on Tuesday it would extend a voluntary oil production cut of 1 million barrels per day until the end of the year, continuing its campaign to bolster prices. The cut, which first took effect in July, will continue for another 3 months until the end of December 2023, the Energy Ministry said in a statement. Riyadh first announced the cuts after a June meeting of the 23-nation OPEC Plus alliance, which also includes Russia. A statement in early August revealed that the cuts would last through September, including a warning that it could be deepened, but Tuesday's announcement has kept it at the same level for now. Let's take a quick look at sports now. The Super Eagles camp for the 2023 Africa Cup qualifying game against Sao Tome and Principe will open in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State capital, today. The Eagles play the schedule at the Gosul Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo on Sunday, September 10, in a dead rubber game. Eagles coach Pissarro had on Sunday earned a 23-man squad for the counter, but had Alex Iwobi pull out due to injury. There was, however, invitation for debutants Gift Urban, Victor Boniface, and Jordan Toruga. Boniface's invitation comes after he scored a brace for Bayer Leverkusen's 5-1 win over the Mast at the Bay Arena on Saturday. According to reports, Eagles media officer Babafemi Raji confirmed that the players were expected to resume camp on Wednesday. The camp opens on Wednesday and we'll be expecting most of the players in camp on that day, as they have been able to travel on Monday and Tuesday. And that's it on Global TV AM News live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Uya Agbomafwebe, thanking you very specially for